The sounds of waves crashing on ancient cliffs as a blood-orange sun rises upon the horizon. Seabirds sing and soar as you throw on your favorite knit to combat the chilly ocean morning breeze, salt air filling up your nostrils. You go out by the lighthouse to read the paper in your boxers before switching to a nautical novel with a hearty hero. As you make your way back to your old home filled with trinkets and treasures, you ponder the time you scavenged this thing and that, the memories it holds, the smell of old cracked leather, of worn pages, of deliciously musty sweaters you've had for decades. Your home is a reflection of all the places you've been, the things you've collected and cherished over time. It's the little life you've built for yourself, told in knit sweaters, old leather shoes, and worn books. Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Dion, and today we are talking about the Eclectic Grandpa aesthetic. This is an aesthetic that came out like early in 2024, I feel like, and I kind of wanted to wait around and see if it was a passing fad or if it was going to be something that was like very rock solid, and it kind of ended up being like a passing fad, like a very quick aesthetic that no one came back to, but something about it I always really enjoyed, so I wanted to finally cover it. It's been on my list for a while. I wanted to see if it like came back, and I also feel like as we're getting into late July, mid-August, it's a good like transitional summer to fall aesthetic because you can make it very like warm or very cool. Also, I live in New England and I used to work at LL Bean, so I feel like I'm just very nostalgic for this type of aesthetic because I see it a lot. It's very like Maine grandpa vibes. So if you like niche aesthetics and learning how to thrift them and style them, then definitely make sure to subscribe to this channel because I post videos every Thursday. And with that, let's get into it. So in terms of like personality of the Eclectic Grandpa, some similar aesthetics are like academia, coastal grandmother, bloquette, lakeside camper core, and like visco girl. Let me explain. It has like the breeziness, easiness of coastal grandmother, but more colors, textures, and stuff like that. It has the mismatchedness of bloquette, but rather than using jerseys or sports gear, it's more like sweaters, sweater vests, button downs. It's similar to like disheveled academia, dark academia, where it's a lot of tweed, plaid, again, like disheveled, messy look, but it skews a little bit more coastal and less academia. It does sort of give like camper vibes, like lakeside camping, and that rustic, like mallards and moose and other sort of like waterfowl energy. And again, same with that like visco girl style, kind of just oversized, comfy, loose, but it's an amalgamation of like all those things. Icons of the aesthetic are like New England, LL Bean, Maine fisherman, grandpa vibes, like very Ernest Hemingway lighthouse keeper. That's the energy, the romanticized version. The likes of the Eclectic Grandpa are fishing, duck hunting, hiking with their dog, sailing or rowing a boat, and just in general hanging by water or in nature. Very salty, very coastal, kind of still foresty. That's why I think of like New England, Maine, Canada on the coast, like that energy. The essentials for the coastal grandpa go as follows. For shoes, we want to see loafers, boat shoes, colorful dad sneakers, and for a girlier version, Mary Jane's. Staples of the aesthetic are chunky sweaters and cardigans, graphic tees / sweaters and hats. So a t-shirt, a sweater, or a hat with a slogan or a graphic or a print or something on it. Wide leg trousers, bonus points if they're corduroy or tweed, sweater vests, boxer shorts, barn jackets, and button downs. For accessories, newsboy caps, flat bill baseball caps, funky socks, boater hats, knit beanies, and like fishing hats. I feel like hats are a big part of this aesthetic. I couldn't find my bucket hat, nor did I really want to go and mess up my room finding it, but pretend I have a bucket hat on. For colors, it's a lot of bold primary colors and jewel tones, navy blue, hunter green, red, browns, mustard yellow. I feel like a big thing of this aesthetic are like the motifs and patterns that are used. So we see a lot of stripes, fish and food motifs, woodland motifs, herringbone, houndstooth, plaid, gingham, checked, argyle. Very sort of, again, that traditional academia prints and patterns mixed with some like funkier motifs and nautical stripes. For designers who I think of them immediately are, again, LL Bean. I feel like LL Bean is like the epitome of like Maine grandpa, and Kyle James Patrick, or KJP, who is a Rhode Island based brand who really tried to recapture that like New England nostalgic feel in a great way. So as always, I like to do little like criticisms, pros and cons of this aesthetic. So the cons is that it does feel like a little bit of a micro trend. A big part of this aesthetic are wearing boxer shorts. I'm currently wearing my boyfriend's boxer shorts. I have a pair of linen pink and white gingham shorts that are a little bit longer with pockets and a drawstring, and those I will wear out in public. I won't necessarily wear boxers out in public. I feel like that is such a big trend this summer, and I don't super know if I'm on board. It's better than the underwear and micro shorts of last year, but I still, for me, it feels it and it looks like underwear / pajamas. Also, the fish and fruit graphics that have been so common this year, like the Betsy Johnson fruit dress, Lisa Says Ga, the Stod like bags. I feel like there's been a lot of trendy things of like sardines, anchovies, tomatoes, like summer fruits. Like fruit and food prints have been so big. Fruit really dominated last year with like the Jerf Avenue thing, and it's still dominating this year, but I feel like generalized food is really big with some like fishy aspects. So because those are kind of micro trends, don't super love that. Also, it's very much like feigning authenticity. Like the Eclectic Grandpa, the idealized version of this is someone who has collected and worn these things for decades, who uses their clothes to the last bone, and so it's hard. It's an aesthetic that you can't just buy. You have to keep things for decades and like really live in them and really like use and abuse them. And also it's kind of schlubby. It's kind of casual. It's kind of like messy and disheveled. It's not the most like refined, cute aesthetic. I still really like it for summer and fall. It's very cozy, but I feel like it's an aesthetic that works better in like pictures rather than like in real life, especially with using like boxers. I feel like you can dress it up for real life, but like the boxers and sweater thing, I feel like is very much like an at home or like casual at the beach vibe. For the pros of this aesthetic, I feel like it's a really good gender neutral aesthetic. You can make it very mask, you can make it very femme. It's nice and loose and breezy, so like you can kind of hide your body in it, which is really nice. It's very easy to thrift. Again, the whole ethos of this aesthetic are older things that have been used for decades. So finding plaid and argyle and funky sweaters at the thrift store, that is like the best thing you can do. I also like it more than Coastal Grandmother. Coastal Grandmother, if you guys remember when I covered it, I didn't really like it that much. I thought it was so boring. It was just so like basics plus neutrals, whatever. And so I think this is more fun, allows for more creativity. There's a wider color palette, and I just think it allows you to express yourself a little bit more than Coastal Grandmother. And I love it because it's comfy, cozy, and breezy for transitional seasons. My boyfriend and I were in Quebec last week, and it got down to like 55 at night and in the morning. And even in New England, it gets down in the mornings and at night. So it's nice to like have a summery aesthetic that is good for people who live in maybe colder climates or something. Or if you're in the southern hemisphere and it's winter now, you can still use it. All right, so now we are going to talk about the final portion, which is getting the look, how to create this look with stuff in your own closet. Remember, we don't need to buy anything here. So a main part of this aesthetic are the colors and pattern mixing. It should be kind of all over the place. So you really do want a lot of patterns and colors and prints and that kind of thing. For bottoms, you want to do like trousers or shorts. So for shorts, you can do boxers or striped pants, plaid pants, anything loose and breezy and patterned, but also like a wide leg jean also works. I mean, what grandpa doesn't wear jeans? For the top, again, graphic tees are always like a great option, or a graphic sweater. And then on top of the graphic tee, you can do like a button down or a barn jacket or a cardigan. Those are very popular in this aesthetic. Or if you're going with a graphic sweater, you can do a button down underneath it. Sweater vests are also very common. So you can do like a basic tee with a sweater vest that's like intricately knit on top. As always, like if the bottoms are fun, you can go more like basic with the top. If the top is fun, you can go more basic with the bottoms. But in general, I feel like you do want to keep it interesting in this aesthetic from top to bottom. Like you want the shoes to be dissonant with the socks, to be dissonant with the pants, to be dissonant with the top, like everything just sort of like an old curmudgeon-y grandpa just threw it on. He doesn't care about fashion kind of vibe. For shoes, like masculine sensible shoes, so like dad sneakers or just some nice leather loafers or like leather sandals kind of thing. And then contrasting socks, so like funky socks, striped socks with a motif or with a little saying or with a print, but just some sort of like bright socks. So when your trousers do roll up or if you cuff them at the end, you can kind of peek it. Again, I feel like a hat is really big in this aesthetic, whether it's like a little boater hat, a bucket hat, a flat bill cap, a little knit beanie, but like I feel like a hat is very grandpa energy. And then for a bag, like I feel like a tote bag or an old leather satchel works, but also like a basket bag, very practical, very fishing, all of that energy. And yeah, I really like this aesthetic, I'm not gonna lie. I think it's very cute. I really want to knit myself a sweater with like a duck on it or something. I actually knit this sweater. It's the first thing I've ever well, it's not the first thing I've ever knit, but it's the first cable knit thing I've ever done. So I had to wear it for this video naturally. But yeah, I overall like really like it. I think it's cute and comfy and breezy, and I like that it's colorful and very like mismatched. I think that makes it like very applicable and easy for other people to use. If you did like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up because I post content every Thursday. Also follow me on Instagram and TikTok because I post content there often. Subscribe to this channel. I also have a Patreon if you want even more from me, patreon.com/DionTheTaurus. And with that, have a happy day. Bye.